Those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride. Ready for action.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Duke Nukem Evermore,
Time to bring the
a series
pain.
where I'll be using the solo gameplay rules for the Duke Nukem Tabletop Meltdown role-playing game in order to recreate the story to the ill-fated Duke Nukem Forever.
Bada bing.
Last we left off, Duke had just used the Omega Cannon atop the Lady Killer Casino to decimate the alien mothership's own laser cannon,
Suck it
of
down.
which it had used to level half of Vegas prior. Unfortunately, he was forced to abandon the large weapon after unleashing the devastating attack, as the guns had overheated due to the sheer might of the plasma blast.
Come get some.
Fighting his way through octobrains, troopers, and assault captains,
Wanna
Duke
dance?
then made his way down to his penthouse to resupply.
Fresh hardware.
Donning his signature red tank top and blue jeans, Duke grabbed as much gear as he could carry before heading back into the fray.
Groovy.
One weapon of note was the Devastator,
I
of which he
like
then
it.
used to finish off the aliens who had attempted to ambush him in his home.
Who's next?
After tearing through the alien scum, he was then hit hard by a wave of sentry drones who began swarming through the doors before lighting the place ablaze in a fiery explosion. Thankfully, Duke was able to escape the metallic beast with the use of his newly found
Piece
jetpack
of
by
cake.
blasting his way through an open window into the pouring rain outside, where he had an intense showdown with the final sentry drone.
It's ass-kicking time.
After turning the tin can into scrap metal,
Too
Duke
easy.
knew he had to find the Holsom twins fast before the aliens found them first. Recalling the morning, Duke remembered he saw them making their way towards their workplace and figured that would be a better place than any to check first.
Let's rock.
Flying down the side of the neon-tinted casino, Duke made his way through a window on the third floor, where he came to a sliding stop between rows of video poker and slot machines. As always, if you enjoy the show, please consider leaving the video a like, as it will help with the YouTube algorithm and getting this video out to more Duke fans like yourself.
It's go time.
If you really enjoyed the video and you really want to see more of Duke's adventure as it unfolds, please consider hitting that subscribe button below. And don't forget to hit that bell notification, as that will actually notify you when a new video comes out.
Just like Christmas.
Now that we got all that out of the way,
Let the games begin.
It's game time.
a gust of damp wind rolls through the open window behind Duke, sweeping loose bills and casino chips down the aisle of clattering slot machines. Noting the limited space of the room, Duke hooks the Devastator onto his back and flips the shotgun into his grip. Its chrome barrels sweep the abandoned contents of the torn-up game room. Bodies slump over their video poker machine, a single bloody handprint sliding down one of the flashing monitors. Duke shakes his head in disgust, slowly creeping his way to the entrance. As he nears, a green pack of chewing gum on the edge of a small table catches his eye, and he pockets the minty stick. Peering through the doorway, Duke sees a large open room full of blackjack tables and the like, some of which are turned over, spilling playing cards and poker chips onto the carpet floor. A few patrolling aliens search the room for survivors amongst the scattered human remains littering the room. Patches of fleshy alien infection spread throughout the room, spilling forth like mold from the adjacent game rooms. Slowly stepping into the room, his eyes lock onto the leading enforcer, motioning to 3 additional troopers who break off into separate groups to sweep the edges of the space. As he brings his boot down, a jelly-like substance squishes under his weight, and before he has a chance to glance down, his entire world rapidly expands around him. Duke's stomach lurches as he is suddenly shrunken down to the size of a 7-inch tall action figure in the blink of an eye. Finding himself floating in a green goop filling up some kind of open sore composed of alien flesh, Duke takes a moment to try and fathom what the hell just happened.
What the fuck?
Swimming through the thick ooze, Duke lumbers up to the edge of the tiny crater. Taking in the now massive room, He sees game tables and slot machines towering over him like skyscrapers. Vibrations shake beneath him, and looking to his left, Duke sees a colossal assault trooper striding towards him with booming footfalls. Frantically casting his glance for cover, Duke spots the body of a dead EDF Marine and rushes out of sight behind the fallen ally. The immense invader's leg sweeps over the corpse, stopping suddenly at the fleshy shrink pad. The alien scans the floor around the trap, but overlooks the tiny green footsteps leading away from the pool, blending into the emerald carpet. With a low growl, the unsuspecting trooper carefully steps over the pad and continues to probe the room. Microscopic beads of sweat roll down Duke's forehead as he climbs up the cadaver for a better view of his enlarged surroundings. Between rows of bar stools and roulette tables, bumpin' music pours forth from behind a large pair of double doors, the occasional stream of colored laser lights slipping through the small glass windows on his face. The entrance to Duke's very own gentleman's club, the Atom Bomb, as well as the Holsom twins' place of employment. Another set of thundering footsteps nears as Duke hops off the carcass, sliding under the nearby table. The ugly enforcer stomps his way past the blackjack table, stopping for only a short minute to shout orders to his troop. As the resounding footfalls reverberate down the aisle, Duke rushes towards the door, using the game tables and stools for cover. Reaching the entrance, he pushes with all his might, but the door doesn't budge. Staring up the length of the colossal portal, the panel to his right displays red digital words locked on its screen. He had a master keycard for the casino on him, but something told him it wouldn't do him much good given its current dimension.
Ah, shit. I gotta find another keycard.
The rumble of two approaching assault troopers catches Duke's attention, and he quickly dives between the legs of a nearby stool. To his dismay, both invaders stop above him, exchanging banter between one another. One of the alien bastards promptly sits down on Duke's cover, its scaly legs dangling a few inches from his face. Duke takes his eyes off the slimy appendage for a moment to scan his gaze over the nearby bodies for that of the bouncer, but doesn't see his corpse among the bloody remains. The steady sway of the alien leg draws back his stare, swinging back and forth between himself and the nearby game table. Attempting to time his dash under the fleshy pendulum, he miscalculates its oscillation, and it slams into his side, throwing him laterally under the table. As he catches himself from falling, he glances back, half expecting to see the alien mug peering back at him. To his relief, the beast is much too focused on what has become a heated debate with the other invaders to take any notice. More than a little annoyed at the entire situation, Duke stops to ponder the whereabouts of the bouncer Keo, who would certainly have the spare keycard. The man had a habit of eating the kinds of food that would send him running to the bathroom about half a dozen times during his shift. It might be a good place to start. Scanning the room, he spots a small sign with silhouetted figures hanging over an adjoining hallway. Dropping low, an easy feat given his circumstances, Duke rushes towards his porcelain objective. Arriving at the opening of the corridor, Duke slips behind an ATM in the corner, then peers around into the vacant hall for usable cover, spotting a single corpse slumped against the wall. Just as he is about to bolt down the tight space, the enforcer's massive foot slams past Duke, followed closely by a trooper hot on its heels. The creatures stop at the bathroom door, grumbling at one another, then enter. As the door begins to close, Duke hoofs it for the opening, sliding through the small gap just in time as the enormous slab clicks shut. Sliding behind a garbage can, Duke watches the beast lumber over to the stalls. A jolt of adrenaline spikes through Duke's blood as he notices the pair of sneakers awaiting the alien horror reaching for their owner's stall.
Guess someone's gotta teach you to knock first.
As he takes a step forward, a large Hawaiian man with his sleeves rolled up bursts through the stall door, slamming into the trooper's ugly face. The invader is nearly knocked out cold as it stumbles back into the urinals, catching himself on the privacy screen. Duke glances down to his shotgun with a grimace, then swaps it back out with the Devastator, and launches his jetpack towards the unsuspecting enforcer ahead. Far too engrossed with the sudden attack, the creature doesn't notice the faint buzzing as Duke approaches, and is caught by complete surprise by the stream of tiny rockets slamming into the back of its head. The alien lurches forward with a wail of pain, then spins around to face Duke, returning fire at the puny target. The massive bullets tear past Duke's small body, shattering ribs and spilling gouts of blood as they graze his flesh, barely missing vitals but causing him heavy blood loss. Nearly losing control of his jetpack, Duke shakes off the pain screaming in his head and manages to keep himself airborne. The trooper steadies himself on the urinal, sending a bolt of plasma into Keo's stomach. The large man grunts, but holds it together, channeling the pain towards the enforcer with a loud shout into its ear. The beast turns back towards Keo, buying Duke a clear window to send 3 more hot rounds at the invader. Unfortunately, the agony from his gaping wounds causes Duke to jerk the gun up as he squeezes the triggers, shattering the fluorescent lights above. As darkness engulfs the room, Duke zooms down into the stall, sweeping up behind the toilet for cover, then pops a handful of painkiller from one of his small med kits. Spittle projects into Keo's face as the enforcer lunges at him with a fierce roar. The invader's face betrays its surprise as its sharp claw swipes thin air, then twists into a look of shocked pain as Keo's meaty fist nearly breaks its jaw with a powerful punch. The trooper's firearm bursts another shot at Keo, but aims too low and the plasma smashes into the stall, spewing forth a flood of toilet water. Before he can react, a torrent sweeps Duke sprawling across the tile floor beneath the bathroom sinks. Scrambling to his feet, Duke hears a growl from the nearby enforcer, helping him place its whereabouts in the pitch. 2 rockets zip from the Devastator's barrels, splashing into the shoulder of the massive shadow, and the beast twists around with a pained cry, madly scanning the dark space for its hidden attacker. Duke dashes through the water, slipping under the stall just as the bathroom door crashes open, a beam of light streaming into the room over the weathered shapes of Keo and the enforcer. The last 2 troopers from the gate step through the opening, blasters at the ready, pointed at Keo. But before they can pull their respective triggers, Keo bolts into the dark end of the bathroom, sliding into the furthest stall for cover. Bolts of laser fire splash along the walls of the dark space, breaking off tiles and punching holes through the fiberglass. The enforcer blasts wildly onto the floor where Duke once stood, then hunkers behind the stall door, unaware of the tiny man sharing the cramped space with him. Popping the lid off a bottle of steroids, Duke gulps down the capsules with haste, a drizzle of blood running down from the corner of his mouth. Adrenaline surges through his veins, and his jetpack bursts to life, launching off towards the unsuspecting enforcer. Duke's tiny fist slams into the temple of the enormous invader with an audible crack. The creature's eyes roll to the back of its head as it drops dead on the spot, smashing headfirst into the remains of the toilet. The nearest trooper sees his ally fall, a small silhouette of a man hovering in the dim light. The beast snarls, sending another pulse of plasma into the open stall, but the small figure proves a difficult target to hit, and the projectile smashes into the tile wall. Another alien slips past, rushing into the dark space in search of Keo. The trooper fires its plasma pistol blindly into the black, using the flash from the muzzle to light the space. The final trooper snarls at Duke, nearly shredding his arm off with a streak of plasma from its blaster, only barely missing the juiced-up man as he dodges back into the black. Slipping under the adjoining stalls, Duke slides to a stop behind Keo, who doesn't notice the little man standing near his shoe. Kicking the side of the large sneaker, Duke catches the attention of the towering man with a shocked gasp, perking the ear of the nearby invader.
Nice punch, kid, but we're not done yet. Wait for my signal.
Speeding across the aisle, Duke launches himself up to the handle of the nearest urinal as the invaders begin kicking into stall doors, making their way down towards the two men. The closest trooper peers around the room with a low growl, lighting up the space with another shot from his blaster to no avail. The sound of rushing water fills the space, and the trooper spins around to see the miniature-sized barrels of Duke's Devastator staring back at him.
Don't forget to flush.
The missiles slam into the creature's face, filling its surface with a series of fleshy craters, resembling a gory slab of Swiss cheese. The invader smashes into the stall behind him, and at that same moment, the stall at the end of the bathroom bursts open as Keo rushes through the black towards the troopers. Emerging from the shadows, he throws a heavy jab at the first invader, but swings wide, and the beast instinctively jerks away from the attack. Both monsters square off with the hulking man, bellowing out low guttural sounds, and a bead of sweat trickles down the side of his face. The invader to his right lunges at Keo with a slash of its razor-sharp claw, but the bouncer proves too quick, dropping under the attack and slamming his fist into the creature's ribcage, knocking the wind clean from his lungs. Before the beast has time to catch his breath, the pint-sized massive muscle that is Duke Nukem uses his jetpack to zip up and jam his entire arm up to the shoulder into the eye socket of the unsuspecting alien. The trooper sways for a brief moment before dropping limply to the ground, the tiny man still hanging from its gruesome socket. Keo dips in for a quick left hook, driving a hard blow into the temple of the ugly invader. The dazed trooper lets out a shocked cry and attempts to flee, but Keo keeps up the pressure, landing a knee to his side. Tearing his arm free from the corpse, Duke turns to the terrified alien and unleashes a single rocket in its direction. The beast screams in agony as its right arm is torn off at the elbow, leaving nothing more than a wet stump in its place. As the trooper grasps at the dismembered limb, Keo latches onto the side of its head and brings it smashing down onto the nearby urinal, flooding the tile floor with a pool of blood and toilet water. The silent murmur of death permeates the space, broken only by the gentle sound of spilling water and the raspy heat discharging from the strained lungs of the worn-out men. Glancing down to his dwarfed companion, a look of genuine confusion forms on Keo's face.
What the hell happened to you?
Duke cocks an eyebrow back at the man.
I don't want to talk about it. Glad you made it, Keo. Guess those frequent bathroom breaks finally paid off, huh?
Keo lets out a small chuckle.
Saved by the burrito. I heard the commotion only minutes after dropping my drawer. A few EDF troops were gambling when I left, so I figured it would be best to wait for the gunfire to die down. Any survivors?
Duke shakes his head.
Oh, shit.
Duke glances up.
Don't blame yourself, kid. Nothing could be done. You're lucky to still be breathing. Got that key card on you still?
Keo pats his pockets, then produces a red card with a white stripe running down the middle.
Got it right here, boss. Not really the best time for a lap dance, though.
Duke smirks.
The twins in there?
Keo takes a moment to think.
They should be. I did let them in this morning, and I remember a handful of EDF troops accompanied them before the chaos broke out. The door was locked, so they should be safe.
Good to hear. Come on, let's get that door unlocked. I hope those boys got an expand pad on them. Short man syndrome's a bitch.
Keo bellows out a hearty laugh, then picks up two of the fumbled blasters at his feet. The men carefully pick their way over the human and alien remains, passing between the various game tables and stopping before the neon-lined gates of ecstasy. Sliding the ruby-dyed plastic into its designated reader with a chirp of approval, Keo casts a quick nod of affirmation to Duke.
Best of luck to you, Mr. Nukem. Kick some alien ass for me.
Duke glances up with a raised eyebrow, a smile stretching across his face.
Kid, luck is for pussies.
That concludes another episode of Duke Nukem Evermore.
Game
Thanks for
over.
watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and hit that subscribe button below to keep up with Duke's adventure as it progresses along. Don't forget to hit that bell notification, as it will actually notify you when a new video is out.
Cheers.
If you'd like to play your own Duke Nukem adventure, you just gotta hit that link in the description below for the rulebook. I just released version 4.0 a couple days ago. It's got new character sheets, updated rules, some more rules for travel and stuff, some rebalancing of enemies. They were doing way too much damage and stuff, and I added a whole list of new weapons and items and stuff, as well as a couple new abilities in the game.
Double your
Everything's
pleasure.
a lot more fleshed out, a lot cooler.
I like it.
As always, if you do any adventures of your own, or you want to share something about the rulebook that you found, or any cool ideas, don't forget to send me an email at roastedzerg@gmail.com. I check my email every day, so I'm real good at that. So I'll get back to you as soon as you send it, pretty much.
Convenient.
Keep an eye out for next episode coming up soon, and remember,
Thanks for hanging out.
Always bet on Duke.
Hail to the king, baby. That's the last time I do any role playing.